Wallahi!
One of the activists is the sister-in-law of Tony Blair.
The Israelis will never have a moment's good sleep in their beds.
Qatar is more of a corporation than a country. Its leaders maintain their status and wealth by manipulating the wider world as much as by governing their own national affairs. And this involves playing off enemies against each other. Qatar lend considerable support to terrorist organizations on the one hand, while catering to the Western and cultural strategic interests on the other. This double dealing requires a well-funded PR machine. One of the ways you are most likely to have been affected by Qatar without even knowing it is through their state media network.
A new era in television news in the Middle East began. A news channel was launched, reporting real news rather than state propaganda.
Founded in 1996, Al Jazeera is a slick global outfit that has received billions of dollars from the rulers of Qatar. The network targets different audiences with different messages, whitewashing Qatar's active collaboration with terrorists while accusing other broadcasters of the very same unethical standards which are a means to Qatar's national ambition, stated in their constitution, to encourage the peaceful resolution of international disputes. Whether or not you are in favour of completely free speech, it is worth asking if public dialogue, and therefore public policy, can remain balanced when a major state actor like Al Jazeera raises its voice with impunity while never being held accountable for its owners' ideologies. Across the Middle East, Al Jazeera has long been regarded as a dangerous tool of state propaganda. In 2017, the Arab League banned Al Jazeera from broadcasting in their countries. This included Saudi Arabia, where Al Jazeera had criticized American and Saudi policy against the Islamic Republic of Iran while praising Hezbollah and Hamas. The United Arab Emirates, where they had misrepresented ministerial statements and accused the UAE of plotting to overthrow the Qatari government. Bahrain, where Al Jazeera ran a lurid and politically charged smear campaign on its living conditions, and Egypt, where Al Jazeera played an instrumental role in toppling the regime during the Arab Spring, and 3 of its journalists, Peter Grest, Mohammed Fahmy, and Baher Mohammed, were sentenced to a 10-year imprisonment for collaborating with the Muslim Brotherhood. But it's not just the Arab League. The Maldives, Mauritania, Senegal, Jordan, and the Bangladeshi Federal Union of Journalists have also demanded a ban on Al Jazeera's transmissions. And finally, the ban which attracted the most attention and criticism, Israel.
Israel has voted unanimously on Sunday to shut down Al Jazeera offices in Israel.
Amazingly, despite Qatar hosting Hamas terrorist leaders in Doha and Al Jazeera reporters unsurprisingly enjoying privileged access to report from the Gaza Strip, and there being no doubt that those journalists were actively collaborating with the terrorists, it wasn't until May 2024 that the Israeli government shut down Al Jazeera. It's all very well, but these are far-off places, and well, do you really trust Egypt or Senegal to tell you which news sources are reliable? Surely the argument for free speech says, if you don't like what you hear, well, you can always change a channel. But PR firms are different from news networks, in that their goal is to put their message into somebody else's mouth, and you may not even realize when it is the voice of Qatar that is speaking.
Al-Muthida, Baladkum al-Thani.
Even the speaker themselves may be deceived. The Al Jazeera media network belongs to a fundamentalist Wahhabi state. Qatar is run by one family, and there is no real meritocracy of ideas, or what we in a democratic world would call a national debate. So it joins the Western media scene with the impunity of state funding and only the interests of that state at heart. Naturally, then, it becomes a lightning rod for those Westerners who hold the same fundamentalist ideas, and there are many. Just look at the 5,000 Europeans who join the fight with ISIS, the countless more who plan and execute terrorist attacks here, or the tragic figure of Shamima Begum, who volunteered herself as a bride in the Islamic State and is now stuck in a Syrian refugee camp.
I'm asking the British people to forgive me because I made a mistake.
But one of the most interesting examples of collaboration between Qatar and a radical Western personality is the story of Lauren Booth. Lauren Booth is the sister-in-law of Britain's former Prime Minister Tony Blair. She originally trained as an actress but switched to journalism in 1997. In 2008, Lauren travelled to the Gaza Strip with George Galloway, and both received honorary Palestinian passports from the Hamas terrorist leader Ismail Haniya. Of course, you can't travel back out of Gaza on that document, so their stunt gained them a lot of attention in the West. And having gained the publicity she wanted from cosplaying as an oppressed Palestinian, Lauren left Gaza on her British passport, converted to Islam, stole someone else's Muslim husband, and built a well-funded career for herself as an activist, media personality, and Al Jazeera producer in London.
Wallahi, the Israelis will never have a moment's good sleep in their beds. May they never have a second to taste the sweetness of tranquility.
Her time at Al Jazeera was short, but it happens to coincide with her short trusteeship of a British charity called Peace Trail, which she ran with her husband. In March 2016, an inquiry into Peace Trail found £200,000 in unaccounted-for expenditure, £70,000 that was transferred to an individual acting as the charity's agent in Palestine without evidence of how this money was used, and in fact 50% of the charity's expenditure remained unaccounted for. Where was Peace Trail's money coming from? We don't know, but the charity's mission statement is similar enough to Qatar's foreign policy goals to have a good guess.
We believe in him and we trust in him, then it's Jannah. Alhamdulillah.
Qatar's use of Western charities and useful idiots to push its subversive political agenda is well documented. During the Qatargate scandal, Qatari money was channeled through a Brussels-based organisation called Fight Impunity in order to bribe the Deputy President of the European Parliament to keep quiet about Qatari human rights abuses. Peace Trail was dissolved and removed from the charity's register in October 2017. Lauren is now banned from holding trusteeships in the UK, but the question of corruption isn't even the central issue here. Why was this middle-class Shamima Begum even allowed back in the country, let alone work as a producer for a major media outlet and sit on charitable foundations? She was cavorting with terrorists and enemies of the West. At least Shamima Begum seems contrite about her bad behaviour as a teenager.
She's seen here leaving the UK as a 15-year-old, one of 3 schoolgirls from East London seduced by online extremism. The British government revoked her citizenship.
Please find enclosed papers that relate to a decision taken by the Home Secretary.
But Lauren Booth, a highly literate adult with access to all the corridors of power, offers no apology and continues to align herself with the war against a Western ally, Israel. With one rule for this fruitcake and another for people like Shamima Begum, it looks like the war on terror is no more than just another form of political posturing. The allies of Qatar get a hall pass every time. It's not enough to say, oh well, I don't believe everything on Al Jazeera, but I do believe in freedom of speech, because this isn't about freedom of speech anymore. People are sensing, correctly, that the West is becoming a kind of oligarchy in which governments do as powerful lobbyists tell them, and then try to present their decisions as being in the public interest. And people are sensing, correctly, that a subversive element of our society are able to promote themselves by parroting whatever will disrupt and destroy Western values. The signs are that unless we start to recognize the influence that Qatar's state media machine has now, it's about to get a whole lot worse.